Listening to the Platform Launchers podcast. I'm John Stange, and it's great to have you with us. As always, I sincerely mean that as I say it's great because I look forward to this time where we get to talk about building and growing and monetizing your online platform. We talk about taking your passion, turning it into a platform so you can earn a paycheck from that. And that's a very fitting introduction to our topic this week because over the past group of weeks, we've been talking about what I call the 5 Ds of online platform development. We talked about we talked about discovering your message, delivering your content, developing your tribe, deploying your team, and now this week we get to the 5th D of online platform development, and that's deriving your income. This is a subject that I get a lot of questions about. People that get involved in developing an online platform, they want to know, how do I actually turn this into something that can result in a legitimate source of income for me? How can I actually feed my family with this? How can I possibly replace my traditional job with what I'm doing online? So we're going to talk about that sort of stuff as we focus on this. And I'll tell you how our podcast time this week, whether you're joining us on YouTube, welcome, whether you're listening via earbuds in your ear or driving in your car or mowing your lawn right now, we welcome you. But this is how we're going to break down our time here today. I'm going to spend the first half here giving you some background on why this matters, and the second half giving you 8 actionable ways that you can actually derive an income from your online platform. Now, each of these ways, when we get into them, you're going to discover they can be subjects in and of themselves. We could take 20, 30 minutes, even more, talking about any one of these. But I want to give you an overview of 8 primary ways I think we can each be earning an online income from our platforms. I mentioned to our members club, they are live on the call here with me. But I mentioned to them before we went live with the podcast here that I currently in my list have a little over 20 different ways that I'm earning an income through my online platform. But I'm not going to give the whole list of 20 in our conversation right now because some of these are minor things and some of them are so niche that I don't know if it would necessarily interest you right away. But the 8 that I selected are 8 that I chose on purpose because they're legitimately things that you can do soon. They're legitimately things that you could do even if you are early in the process of developing your online platform. Now, let me give you a little background on this as we talk about deriving your income. By the way, this is not a secret, but this is a subject that I love talking about. So I'm really excited about our topic this week. But each evening is literally every evening of the week. Each evening, I have a curious habit that I indulge in. It sounds a bit nerdy, but those of you that are involved in online platform development will certainly understand and appreciate this habit. Before the end of the night, I make a point to check my email to see how much income my online platforms earned that day. I do that each evening. Now, my payment processor sends me those emails at a pretty consistent time right now. Usually they're around 9:30 p.m. Eastern. They used to come around 7 p.m. and then at one point they were coming around 10. So they change it up. But right now they seem to be in the mood of sending these to me around 9:30 p.m. They send me an email each evening with the information of how much I earned via my online platforms during that given day. Sometimes it's a little, sometimes it's a lot. But whatever the amount happens to be, I have to confess, I am grateful for whatever the amount is because I know what it's like to be tight on funds. I'm not somebody that was born with unlimited funds. I'm not somebody that found all the things that I do in day-to-day life super easy or automatic. These are things that took some work, they took some thought, time, learning, practice, failure, all of that to finally get in place. My goal with platform launchers is to save you a lot of time when you're trying to build the type of things that I try to build. And but I'm just grateful when I see these emails because it's confirmation that all that effort was worth it and the learning was worth it. And but again, I know what it's like to feel very, very tight on funds. I'm sure that that's a feeling we've all been acquainted with at one season or another during the course of our lives. And maybe if you're listening to our podcast right now, maybe that's something that you can identify with because that's something you're feeling right now. So I hope that what I share with you here is hopeful. I hope it's encouraging, and I hope that you get direct benefit from it almost immediately. Monetization is a very popular subject with those who create digital content and with those who create various forms of media. when I attend various conferences related to podcasting or related to media, the monetization workshops, they almost always have monetization workshops, but those workshops in particular are typically the sessions with the best attendance. People flock to those. Those are the ones that fill up first because everybody wants to hear about how they can actually monetize what they're building online. This is an area of intense curiosity. I think it's also fair to say that it's an area of frustration for many people, particularly if they haven't yet figured out how to monetize their online platform. And right now, if you're listening to my voice and you haven't yet succeeded at figuring out how to monetize your specific platform, maybe you would use that word frustrating, or maybe you'd use the word that's been a curiosity. Whatever you would say, I hope this demystifies some of this for you. I still remember the early days of creating online content. I've been pretty dedicated to this now for about a decade. But in the early days of doing this, I would frequently say something to my wife. She could probably even quote it verbatim. But I would say to her something like this. It would almost always sound like this. I'd say, I feel like there's a piece to this puzzle that I'm still missing. Feel like there's a piece to this puzzle that I'm still missing. I had different forms of content that I was producing on a daily or a weekly basis, and I just hadn't connected it all yet, and I wasn't fully earning an income from it yet, or sometimes some things would work well and other things wouldn't work well. And it just felt like there was a puzzle that I was missing from it. I was interested, obviously, in earning an income from the content that I was creating, but I looked at it and I thought, I'm not 100% sure how to go about this. And the thought of my online income replacing my traditional income, that felt quite elusive. That felt pretty far off. But now that I've learned how it can be done, and now that I'm actually doing it, so it's not just theory, it's practice, it's part of my day to day life now, I love sharing an overview of what I've learned. And I love sharing these concepts with people that are enthusiastic to do these things because I'm telling you, as somebody who lives this out, it didn't happen overnight, but it did happen. And it can happen for you. And I hope that some of these ideas spark some just motivation within you to give them a shot. Now, again, when I speak of the 5 Ds of online platform development, I often speak of deriving your income last. I consider that the fifth of the 5 Ds because I think it's nearly impossible to earn a steady online income if you don't have a healthy foundation in place. You've got to have a healthy foundation. So, again, that means discovering your message, delivering your content, developing your tribe or your audience, whichever word you want to use there, and deploying your team before you're going to be able to derive a substantial income and before you're going to be able to derive consistent revenue streams. You've got to have the foundation in place. It literally pays, literally pays money to do the foundational work correctly if you plan on earning a lasting income from your creative work. And one of the cool things is that some of these things I'm about to share with you are things that you can do one time, and they can actually produce income potentially for the rest of your life through work that you do once. And if you're still wrestling with whether or not you should attempt to earn an income from your creative content, whether you should attempt that at all, some people debate that. Let me remind you, you maybe have heard me say this before, but I'm going to remind you again, even if you've already heard me say this. I want to remind you why I think it's a good idea in most cases to earn an income from what you're putting out there online. First of all, if you earn an income from the work that you're doing online, you're most likely going to be able to devote more time to creating the content that you're creating because you're going to be able to reduce the hours that you devote to other forms of employment. Now, you don't have to reduce those hours, but at least you'll have the option to do so. If you're earning an income from the content you're creating, you'll be able to reduce those other hours, and that means you'll be able to spend more time creating more content. And secondly, I actually think you'll find it easier to develop new forms of content if your mind isn't worried about where your next paycheck is going to come from. You're going to be more at ease, you're going to be more relaxed. So these are a few, they're not the only reasons, but these are two primary reasons that I actually think it's a good idea for people to consider earning an income from their online platform. Now, with that said, Let me take a few moments to offer you a monetization framework. I promised you 8 ideas, so that's what I'm about to deliver on. But I'm going to give you a monetization framework that can help you get started if you're ready to monetize your online platform. I believe that many of these concepts you've heard me talk about individually, but I have them in a specific order here because I think that this is an order where for most people they are attainable. If you kind of look at them as a blueprint for, all right, focus on number one first, then number two, then number three. If you do it in the order that I'm suggesting here, you might find that it works out a little bit better. You don't have to, but this is what I'm recommending. It's worth it. And again, there's a lot more that can be said about each one of these suggestions, but this framework is a good, healthy starting point. There are several primary ways to earn an online income through a message-based platform, and each of the options that I'm about to suggest is going to become more accessible to you as you build your online authority. So keep that word in mind, building online authority. It's building your online authority that often results in streams of revenue and streams of income. So each of these becomes more accessible if you invest in building your online authority. I'm going to share, as I share these, a little bit about authority as well. But let's start with number one. The long wait is over. Here's the list. Number one is crowdfunding. Now, if you're not familiar with that term, crowdfunding is something that it's a term that you should get familiar with because it's an excellent place to begin, particularly many of our members fall into this category, particularly if you're serving a faith-based or a non-profit audience. You don't need a product to sell. You don't need a complicated infrastructure to manage. All you need is a way to message your audience regularly, and then a tool that allows people to express their appreciation for the content that you're creating, and they express that appreciation by supporting it financially. Now, there are 4 ways that I'm presently doing this. There are other ways to do this than this list, but there are 4 ways that I'm utilizing crowdfunding. I presently use buymeacoffee.com. That one's my favorite, but I also use Patreon. I also use PayPal, and I also use Stripe to process various forms of crowdfunding. In the early days of my online platform, this was one of the primary ways I funded my expenses. And I still remember this is what I would do. And maybe this would be an idea for somebody. But I still remember encouraging my podcast audience to chip in just $1 per month to help me cover my costs. I remember looking at that audience. I thought, all right, it's not, at that point, it wasn't terribly large, but it was growing. And so I'd put it out there, if you want to chip in $1 per month to help me cover my costs, I was upgrading equipment, I was paying for services, I was paying for hosting, things like that. And I said, can you just, chip in $1 per month to cover that? And to their credit, my early audience, many of the people in that early audience, that's exactly what they did. And some of them continue to do so. Some of them actually chipped in $5 a month. I even had a few people that chipped in $20 a month, things like that. And people that appreciated the content helped with crowdfunding. And I just put the request out there. And I gave my content away for free, but I just let people know that if they want to participate in my crowdfunding campaign, that they were invited to do so. And it was very nice that people chose to do that. And I still experience the blessing of that. Like I said, one of my favorites is buymeacoffee.com. When I woke up this morning, no, I guess it was this afternoon. It wasn't even in the morning that I saw this. This was sometime maybe around lunch. I got this email. I got an email from a listener named Lou. I don't know Lou's last name, but Lou thanked me for the content that I produce every day, and he bought me 5 coffees on Buy Me a Coffee. And each one of those it's just basically a way that someone can give you $5. So each coffee is a $5 gift. And so basically, Lou gave me a gift of $25 to a crowdfunding campaign just to say, hey, thanks for the content that you give us for free. Here's $25, AKA 5 coffees on buymeacoffee.com. It was wonderful. And the nice thing is it came with an encouraging note. So I love that. So that's where I think a lot of us can easily start, particularly if you're creating something that maybe fits with either the world of faith-based content or nonprofit content, something worth considering. All right, here's number 2, self-publishing. Now, I have done traditional publishing and I've done self-publishing. Traditional publishing, a lot more hoops to go through when you're going to traditionally publish. But when it comes to self-publishing, that is a great way for monetization, no matter where you are in the process of doing what you're doing, if you're early or if you're seasoned, it's great. But when you publish short books or long books, whatever you prefer, on your preferred topic, usually through Amazon's KDP program. That's typically where I encourage people if they're starting out to go, because that's where most people are buying books, if we're honest. But if you do that, what you're doing is you're actually creating content that gives you the opportunity to earn ongoing royalties for the rest of your life. So just imagine work you do one time, you could get paid for the rest of your life if you produce a piece of content that readers find valuable. This was one of the first things I learned to do in the online space. And because Amazon in general is pretty generous in their pay structure, they're doing a lot of the marketing for you, which is great, but their pay structure is pretty generous. It's certainly more generous than most traditional publishers that I'm familiar with. Because of their generosity, I started earning a decent amount pretty early in the process. And I remember just being grateful to God that that was something that He allowed to happen. And He helped me to kind of figure out what it was like to serve an audience a specific way and produce content that people found helpful. And I kept writing new content and releasing new content. I remember at one point, I got to a spot where I tried to release at least one new book per month, and I've done that at different seasons in my life, and it worked out well. But there are some months that I've been able to release more than one book per month because keep in mind, they don't have to be long. They don't have to be 250 to 300 pages. You could release a book that's 50 pages. You could release a book that's 80 pages, whatever it may be. But the key was to produce books on subjects that my audience was genuinely interested in, not just something I felt like writing about. So self-publishing, super smart, savvy, ongoing way to develop an online income. Number 3 on my list is this, and I'm building these in ascending order. I'd encourage you to look at them in the order that I'm giving them to you here. Number 3 on my list is coaching. I think coaching can be a very lucrative way to earn a steady income online, but please keep in mind, this is one that is highly dependent on your ability to gain clients through authority and visibility. If you have built yourself as an online authority, if you are highly visible online, you are more likely to attract coaching clients than if you kind of stay hidden and tucked away. If no one knows about you, and they can't find the body of work that you do or even a series of interviews that you've done on other people's podcasts or shows or whatever, interviews that are highlighting the things that you do, don't expect to earn an income through coaching right away until you build the authority and the visibility. But when you build the authority and visibility, coaching is a very logical way to start earning online income. And let me, instead of just saying build authority and not telling you how to do it, if you're actually trying to figure out how do I build authority, I'll tell you a quick way to do it. It's not the only way to do it, but it's one way to do it. If you want to build online authority and visibility at the same time, I should say, rather quickly, I would encourage you to create a YouTube channel and release a 5 to 10-minute video every single day. And don't worry about overproducing it and don't worry about over editing it. Build an audience that way. It's one of the easiest ways to get discovered. It will help you build online authority. It will help you certainly with visibility, provided that you're creating content that people find useful, honest, authentic, memorable, all of that. So keep that in mind. 5 to 10 minutes on YouTube every day can help you boost your authority and visibility, and that can lead to coaching clients. Something else that I'll add, this is a fourth thing, but it's kind of a general option here. A fourth way that you can earn an online income is just through what I'll call other services. So you could offer other services via your platform as long as they can be digitally delivered. They're worth considering. So I'll give you a few examples. I know people who offer editing services. Some of them are actually on this call live with me right now. I know people who offer that. I know people who offer book formatting services. I know people who offer design services. They do these things online, and for some, that's become one of their primary sources of income. So online or other sources that you can digitally deliver online, that can be another source of revenue if there's something that fits well with your overall message and your platform. Number 5 on my list is this: affiliate relationships. Affiliate relationships are a fantastic way to earn revenue from your online platform. And if you're not familiar with that concept, basically what this is affiliates are people or companies. It could be either that pay you a commission to recommend their products to your audience. So a very popular one is Amazon Associates. It's a very popular affiliate option, but there are many companies and many people who offer affiliate opportunities. And there may be people you know personally who can be a great source of affiliate revenue. I'll even say with platform launchers, those who are part of our members club, they know that, and I just made these payments just a few days ago. I pay our members when they recommend platform launchers to other people. I encourage them sign up for our affiliate program. And by the way, if you're listening to this podcast right now, I have an affiliate program that I will be glad to pay you as a monthly source of revenue for recommending platform launchers to other people. When people join through your recommendation, I think it's only right that I pay you a commission for that because you became the marketing arm of my online business in that moment. And so I pay people to be in an affiliate relationship with what I'm doing, but I'm not the only one that does this. A lot of online businesses do this. They pay people to be affiliates. When they make recommendations, they earn ongoing revenue. Um, I also know people just in my day-to-day life that offer this with some of their products. In fact, several of the courses that I have for sale on the university page of platform launchers are courses that weren't created by me. They're courses created by other people that I trust, some of them being members of our members club, some of them being people that I've had on as guest experts who have said, hey, for a little real estate on your university page, if you help promote my course, if someone utilizes one of those resources, I'll be happy to pay you an affiliate commission for allowing that to exist on your university page. And so I have affiliate relationships with people that way. I also have affiliate relationships with Amazon Associates. I also utilize. I recommend Kajabi software to people all the time, and Kajabi has a very generous affiliate program. So these are a few things that I would throw out there as options, but affiliate relationships can be a fantastic way to earn online revenue, particularly if you don't have any products of your own. You could start recommending other people's products and earning a commission for recommending things. One caveat that I'll say, only recommend things that you actually believe in. Only recommend things that are actually good, things that you actually use or feel confident. Because if you don't make the mistake of recommending something that ends up being garbage, because then that impacts your personal integrity and the view of your own honesty. So if you ever see me recommending something that I didn't create, it's because I actually think that it's something good. I've used it myself. It's beneficial, all of those things. I don't recommend things that I don't feel good about. I'm actually very selective about what I'm willing to affiliate with. But affiliate relationships, very useful. All right, number 6 on my list is this: courses, online courses. Because creating online courses, your own courses, not just being an affiliate, but creating your own courses, it can be another source, just an excellent source of online income, particularly because this kind of falls into the category of self-publishing books. It's work that you do once that can be it can just become an ongoing source of revenue for you. Courses have value. People love online courses. And you can charge a decent amount for an online course. It's not unheard of to charge several $100s for an online course. It's not unheard of to charge several $1,000s for a course that can be digitally delivered, just depending on the subject and the length and the value, all of that. But courses can be a great way to earn online income. Number 7 on my list, this is one of my favorites for many reasons, and that's memberships. We were talking before we went live here with the podcast with some of our members who have memberships of their own, and they're succeeding and they're doing well with it. And it's something that they're observing as it grows. Online memberships are a fantastic way to serve your audience. And for you personally, as an entrepreneur, they're also a great way for you to earn a steady, predictable form of income because so many entrepreneurial things are not predictable. This has a rhythm to it, it has a certain steadiness to it. Now, the keys to making a membership useful, something that somebody would be willing to actually invest in, is to make sure that your membership actually helps solve real problems. And within that membership, make sure you create a positive culture. and make sure you work together as a team with the people that are part of the membership. I think all of those things are very, very important. I think hosting a membership can be a very delightful experience for you as well, particularly if you're willing to be a leader. You can't be passive about that. You've got to be a leader in the space that you decide to host a membership, or, like the topic that you choose to focus your membership on. And if you're eager to help other people succeed and you're willing to celebrate the success of those who are part of your membership, that if you make it not about you, it's got to be about them. It's got to be about their success. If that's how you structure it, and you have a real skill or a problem you can help solve, that can be a wonderfully delightful way to actually, to earn your income by serving other people in the membership context. All right, here's number 8. Number 8, I put purposely last on this list of 8 because it's not something that we always find as an immediate source of income, but if you can get to it, it can become a lucrative thing. I'll tell you about something I just received that kind of reminded me of why I like this option so much. But number 8 on the list is advertising. And again, I'm mentioning advertising last because it's actually one of the first things people think about when they think about doing something online. They think, the way that you earn an income online is through selling advertising. That's one of the ways to earn an income, but I think we've illustrated with the 7 other things that we just listed that advertising is certainly not the only way. And I would actually encourage you not to think of it as the first way to monetize your platform. There are many other ways to monetize an online platform, but just the same, advertising can be a fantastic revenue generator. I receive advertising revenue from multiple sources. I'm very happy to get it. So I will do banner ads on my websites. I will do certain things with my newsletters from time to time. I also do some advertising on my podcasts, et cetera, et cetera. So I do receive advertising revenue from several different sources. Just the other day, this was really exciting to see. There's a new advertiser that I started working with last year. And just the other day, I received my largest advertising commission from them thus far. The actual amount was for $2,355. That was the actual amount of the check that they sent. That's the biggest check that I'd received from them thus far. And I was pretty excited to receive that because this is something that it's a relationship with an advertiser that I've been cultivating for a little while. And it was a really healthy amount and that was for 1 month of this advertiser advertising with me. And they likewise were very happy with the exposure that they received from my platform. So it was kind of a win-win. I was happy to be compensated. They were happy for the exposure they got. It was a win for us both. But again, just like the affiliates, I am very selective about who I allow to advertise on my platforms. I don't want just anyone doing that. I would encourage you to be very selective as well. You never want to compromise the integrity of your message, no matter how much advertising revenue gets dangled in front of your face. It doesn't matter. Don't compromise your integrity. Don't compromise the integrity of your message. Advertising is great. Just make sure that you feel comfortable with what you're helping to promote. So these are some of I know it's quick to try and run through all of that, but these are some of the main ways online platforms can be monetized. These are 8 ways I consider great ways to start. There are subsets of some of these, and there's additional things that you could do with some of these, but that's a secondary conversation. This is where I would start. If I was starting from scratch, this is a list I would have been grateful to receive. Each of these options is worth considering if you're looking to monetize what you're doing. I've had great success using all of these, whether it was crowdfunding, self-publishing, coaching, affiliates, courses, memberships, advertising, all of them, to earn regular streams of recurring online income. And even though, many of you that are listening to the podcast right now, obviously there's many of you that I don't know personally, a bunch of you watching on YouTube, I get that. Even though I don't know you personally, I'm just telling you, I honestly believe that you can do the very same thing that I'm doing, utilizing these as streams of income, provided that you have the 5 Ds of your online platform securely in place. So if you got the 5 Ds in place and you're consistently creating helpful content on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis, and you're building authority and you're building visibility by showing up on your platform and on the platforms of others, it would not surprise me in the least if you start working through this list and it starts working for you. It's a great way to start monetizing the content that you're creating online. That's a lot to cover in one session. So that's where we're going to wrap up this week. As always, it's a pleasure to be able to hang out with you. Stop by platformlaunchers.com if you want to check out some of the things that we've got going on over there. Lots of resources to help you figure this stuff out. We'd love to invite you to be part of our members club as well. You can learn a little bit more about that at platformlaunchers.com. And if you want to send me an email, my email address is john@platformlaunchers.com. I would love to hear from you. And I promise I do my best to reply to every single message. So I'll do my best to reply to you as well. But that's it for this week. Thanks again for tuning in. We're always grateful for this time that we're able to spend together. I hope these ideas were practical and useful for you. And I look forward to catching up with you again right here next time. Take care.